First off, I have to say, quite a lot of people have either owned, or at least looked like they had the Rinnegan, but there are some I'm only gonna mention without ranking. Black Zetsu, Jura, Hidari, Ryu, Mamushi, Matsuri, and Shibai Ōtsutsuki. Why? Black Zetsu never actually fought directly. Jura, Hidari, Ryu, Mamushi, and Matsuri, the God Tree humans born from Ten Tails, all have those purple Rinnegan eyes, but they've never shown any real abilities of the Six Paths techniques. Yeah, in Boruto, Rinnegan feels like it's everywhere, but honestly, most of them don't seem to do anything special. As for Shibai Ōtsutsuki, the ultimate god himself, yeah, he's got the Rinnegan and power beyond any limit, but I'm not ranking him because he's a literal divine being. There's just no point comparing. So now, let's start with the weakest Rinnegan user on the list, Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha. Sure, he's absolutely strong, but when it comes to the Rinnegan, the sad truth is, he's the weakest out of every single person who's ever wielded this legendary eye. His biggest problem? Well, he only ever had one Rinnegan, transplanted from Nagato after Nagato's death. And it wasn't by choice, it was because he couldn't handle both. Obito himself admitted the Rinnegan's power was hard to control, and could even completely consume him. That's a pretty clear sign he wasn't a true master of it. Technically, he did show off a few of the Six Paths abilities. He used the outer path to summon the Geto Mazo and create chakra chains to bind targets. And he tapped into the Asura path to straight up absorb chakra from his enemies. The most notable thing about Obito's use of the Rinnegan was his own unique version of the Six Paths of Pain. Instead of using regular corpses like Nagato, Obito controlled 6 resurrected Jinchuriki, each with a tailed beast sealed inside. Every single one of them had chakra receivers implanted, a Sharingan in the right eye, and a Rinnegan in the left. Sounds absolutely badass, right? But in reality, it was proof that he wasn't truly skilled with the Rinnegan. Controlling tailed beasts and keeping 6 Jinchuriki perfectly in sync burned through a ridiculous amount of chakra. Because of that, Obito couldn't really use other Six Paths abilities while running this squad. Honestly, this team was scary because they were already insanely powerful Jinchuriki, not because of Obito's mastery. Keeping them under control constantly pushed him to his physical limits. Even after enhancing his body with Hashirama's cells, he still couldn't fully unleash the Rinnegan's true potential. On the battlefield, Obito absolutely made a huge impact against the allied shinobi forces. But the truth is, he only completely dominated when he became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. His spotlight didn't last long though. The moment Madara showed up and took back the Rinnegan, Obito's role instantly shrank. It became painfully clear he was just a temporary placeholder, not the real master of the eye. The harsh truth is that the Rinnegan never truly belonged to Obito. He relied far more on his Kamui from the Sharingan and the raw, godlike power of the Ten Tails. Now, if you've made it this far, welcome to the amazing world of anime. This is the place for true fans like you, where we celebrate all the magic, action, and emotions anime brings to our lives. You've watched, you've felt the hype, you've been lost in these beautiful fantasy worlds, but, have you hit that subscribe button yet? Right now, almost 90% of you are watching without subscribing. Just imagine, if everyone hit sub, we could build one of the strongest anime communities out there. So go ahead, click that subscribe button right now so you won't miss any new episodes, deep dive breakdowns, or awesome anime content coming your way. Thank you so much. Now next on the list, just a little bit higher, is Urashiki Otsutsuki, an alien with a Rinnegan that can literally mess with time and space. So why does someone with powers this terrifying only rank 6th on the list? First thing to understand, Urashiki was born with the Rinnegan, totally different from guys like Obito who had to get it transplanted. He could switch both his eyes into Rinnegan anytime he wanted, and he had 2 completely different forms. His red Rinnegan, with 6 Tomoe, let him use Yomotsu Hirasaka, the same insane dimensional warp technique Kaguya used to hop between worlds. His blue, Tomoe-less Rinnegan could rewind time by a few seconds, a power that literally any shinobi would kill to have. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Urashiki completely skipped the basic core techniques of the Rinnegan, like the legendary Six Paths abilities. Instead, he obsessed over flashy time-space tricks. There's no evidence he ever used the Six Paths at all, and maybe he just couldn't. It's like a boxer who only dodges punches, but never learns to throw a brutal uppercut. Urashiki's space warping ability was straight up terrifying in battle. He could pop out of nowhere from different dimensions, giving even Naruto and Sasuke a serious headache. Yomotsu Hirasaka let him strike from angles you could never predict, turning every fight into a deadly game of cat and mouse. And that time rewind trick was basically like having a real-life undo button. He could literally see your move before you made it and counter perfectly. But the problem was, these powers were mostly defensive and evasive. Urashiki relied on running away and landing quick surprise hits. That made him insanely dangerous in one-on-one fights, but almost useless in big, chaotic battles. The worst part of his Rinnegan use was his own self-destruction. In a desperate attempt to boost his strength, he ate his own Rinnegan. That's not the move of a master. That's the move of someone desperate and reckless. A true Rinnegan user would never destroy their own source of power for a short-lived upgrade. The only real edge Urashiki had was his almost endless chakra supply, thanks to his pure Otsutsuki bloodline. He could spam his time-space techniques non-stop without tiring, but even that advantage got completely wasted the moment he destroyed his own Rinnegan. Momoshiki Otsutsuki. Yep, another Otsutsuki, but he's only taking the number 5 spot. The first thing to know is that Momoshiki's Rinnegan is totally different from everyone else's. Instead of being in his eyes, his Rinnegan is right in the middle of his palms. His right hand was red at first, but turned gold after he absorbed Kinshiki. Later, when he transformed, he even grew a golden Rinnegan on his forehead. Sounds insanely cool, right? But in reality, Momoshiki only used 2 out of the 6 path's abilities. His core power came from the Asura path, letting him absorb any chakra-based technique. Naruto's Rasengan? Gone. The Kage's strongest moves? Completely swallowed. And on top of that, he could amplify anything he absorbed. He could take a normal Rasengan and turn it into a massive, city-flattening Rasengan with absurd destructive force. It worked like a giant funnel. Everything that went in came out supercharged. This made attacking Momoshiki with ninjutsu basically suicide. But Momoshiki's most terrifying skill was his ability to turn an opponent into a chakra pill. Yes, he could literally transform a living person into a tiny tablet, swallow it, and absorb all of their chakra and abilities. He did this to Kinshiki, turning his own ally into pure fuel for more power. On the battlefield, Momoshiki put out insane pressure. He forced Naruto and Sasuke to fight side by side, something that almost never happens. His power to absorb any chakra-based technique made even the 2 strongest ninja in the world completely rethink their strategies. On top of that, thanks to his pure Otsutsuki bloodline, he had practically unlimited chakra. Unlike Obito or Nagato, he never had to worry about running out of stamina when using the Rinnegan. He could fight for ridiculous amounts of time without showing the slightest sign of getting tired. But this came with a deadly weakness. He relied way too much on his opponent's chakra. The moment Naruto switched to pure hand-to-hand taijutsu, Momoshiki instantly lost the advantage. Historically, Momoshiki played a massive role in kicking off Boruto's new era. He was the first Otsutsuki to show up, setting the stage for the alien clan's growing threat. The karma mark he left on Boruto became a ticking time bomb in the story, ready to explode at any moment. What is Momoshiki's biggest flaw? He wasn't well-rounded. He never used the Diva path for gravity control, the human path to rip out souls, or the Naraka path to torture and extract information. It's like a fighter who only knows one move. No matter how strong it is, it's still predictable and can be countered. Nagato, better known as Pain, the man who leveled the entire Hidden Leaf village with a single almighty push. Called the third sage of the 6 paths, after Hagoromo and Madara, this tragic ninja commanded an undead army with terrifying Rinnegan power. But why does a monster like him only sit at number 4? Nagato was easily one of the most skilled Rinnegan users in the entire series. Wielding both Rinnegan eyes transplanted from Madara, he mastered every single one of the 6 paths techniques with absolute precision. Thanks to his insanely strong Uzumaki bloodline, he could control the Rinnegan without major drawbacks, even as a child with no real training. This was way beyond Obito, who only had one Rinnegan and was almost completely overwhelmed by it. From a young age, Nagato could activate the Rinnegan under extreme stress, adapting to its insane power frighteningly fast, proof of his natural, god-tier talent. His true strength came from using all 6 paths perfectly. The Deva path controlled gravity, letting him destroy Konoha in one single devastating blast. The animal path summoned monstrous creatures like the 3-headed Cerberus. The Preta path absorbed any type of chakra, making ninjutsu useless. The human path ripped out souls to kill or gather intel. The Asura path turned his body into a weaponized machine loaded with rockets and blades. And the Naraka path called on the King of Hell to interrogate enemies and repair his other paths. Nagato's signature move was the 6 Paths of Pain, a genius creation using the outer path to control 6 corpses like deadly puppets. He implanted black chakra receivers into each body, letting him control them remotely while sharing their vision. This gave him an almost unbeatable army that could attack from multiple angles at once, with perfect coordination, without him even needing to look directly. On the battlefield, Nagato proved just how overwhelming this was when he unleashed the 6 Paths of Pain on Konoha. He crushed countless strong ninja, even elite jonin like Kakashi, and came dangerously close to defeating Naruto. His Chibaku Tensei nearly trapped Six-Tails Naruto in a massive gravity prison. He could also summon the Gedo Mazo to rip tailed beasts out of their hosts, and once wiped out Hanzo's entire army with the dragon spirits from the statue's mouth. Honestly, if Hanzo hadn't escaped, he'd be dead on the spot. But Nagato's power came with heavy limits. Even though his Rinnegan was transplanted from Madara, his Uzumaki bloodline let him use it far more effectively than Obito. The real problem was his frail body and the massive chakra drain from his strongest techniques. Moves like Chibaku Tensei or the Rinne Rebirth demanded an absurd amount of chakra, and that final resurrection to bring back the people of the Leaf literally cost him his life. Yes, Nagato could use all 6 paths techniques flawlessly, but he had no exclusive Rinnegan powers of his own. Combine that with his weak body and the life-ending price of his ultimate jutsu, and it's clear why he ranks only at number 4. Still, number 4 is nothing to scoff at. Sasuke Uchiha, the last Avenger, and the only man who can truly stand toe-to-toe with Naruto in the post-war era. Sasuke gained his Rinnegan from Hagoromo Otsutsuki after receiving half of the sage's chakra. His Rinnegan is unique. It has 3 tomoe in the 2 innermost rings, can't be turned off like a Sharingan, but also doesn't drain his stamina or chakra just for being active. Unlike Nagato, Sasuke doesn't bother using all 6 paths' powers. He focuses mainly on the Deva path, unleashing Chibaku Tensei strong enough to imprison all the tailed beasts at once, a feat that proves just how monstrous his power is in large-scale battles. He can also use the Preta path to absorb chakra and shut down enemy ninjutsu, just like when he neutralized Momoshiki's attacks. His weakness is clear. He skips several paths like animal, human, or Naraka, making him less complete than Nagato. But his fusion of Rinnegan with Mangekyo Sharingan makes him ridiculously versatile. He can mix Amaterasu, Susanoo, and classic Uchiha techniques with the god-tier abilities of the Rinnegan. Sasuke's signature move is Amano Tejikara, a space-time ninjutsu that instantly swaps his position with any target in sight. In battle, this is insanely broken. He's used it to dodge fatal blows, mess with enemy formations, and coordinate perfectly with Naruto, even against monsters like Madara and Kaguya. Another stroke of genius was turning his Susanoo into a tailed beast armor by absorbing chakra from all 9 beasts. This beast-armored Susanoo became a colossal warrior with devastating power, like a supercharged, agile version of the Gedo Mazo. On top of that, Sasuke integrates Chidori and Amaterasu with his Rinnegan abilities, creating attacks that are fast, brutal, and completely unpredictable. On the battlefield, Sasuke proved he was absolutely an irreplaceable warrior. His role in stopping the infinite Tsukuyomi was totally crucial. Only the Rinnegan could counter this technique, and Sasuke used it to fully protect Team 7 from Madara's control. After the war, he kept using this power to actively investigate Otsutsuki ruins and prepare for dangerous threats from beyond the planet. Sasuke's Rinnegan came directly from Hagoromo, not from an implant like Nagato or Obito. Thanks to his Uchiha bloodline and the powerful chakra of Indra, he could fight for an impressively long time without serious issues. However, the Tomoe in his Rinnegan would fade when his chakra ran low. Losing his Rinnegan in Boruto, after Boruto was taken over by Momoshiki, meant he lost an insanely powerful part of his strength. Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha, the Uchiha legend, whose Rinnegan made the entire ninja world tremble. But why is this unstoppable monster only at number 2? Madara awakened the Rinnegan after mixing Hashirama's DNA with Indra's chakra, becoming the true master of these eyes. He used the Rinnegan to its absolute limit, mastering almost every 6 paths technique and switching smoothly between Rinnegan and Sharingan whenever he wanted. Madara's use of the Diva path went far beyond anything we'd seen before. He could casually create multiple giant Chibaku Tensei at once, or put crushing pressure on the entire Shinobi Alliance. While Nagato could only create one Chibaku Tensei and nearly drain all his chakra, Madara spammed them like it was nothing. With the Preta path, Madara became an impenetrable shield, absorbing any kind of chakra, even Senjutsu chakra, without breaking a sweat. When the Shinobi Alliance unleashed their most devastating attacks, Madara just absorbed them like they were child's play. Through the outer path, Madara chained up all 9-tailed beasts like pets. His ability to summon and control the Gedo Mizu after being revived showed total mastery over the outer path. Unlike Nagato, who had to rely on controlling corpses, Madara used all the paths directly with overwhelming power and insane flexibility. What truly made Madara terrifying were his 2 signature abilities, Limbo Hengoku and Tengai Shinsei. Limbo let Madara create invisible clones in a parallel dimension, clones that could only be seen by Rinnegan users or 6-path sages. With one Rinnegan, he could make 1 clone. With both eyes, he could summon 4 clones, each as strong as the real Madara. On top of that, Tengai Shinsei was pure, absolute destruction. Madara could call down massive meteorites from the sky, wiping out entire areas. Even Gaara called it the power of a god. The scariest part? Madara could drop 2 meteorites in a row, leaving the entire Shinobi Alliance in hopeless shock as they faced being crushed by giant falling rocks. As the 10-Tails Jinchuriki, Madara activated the infinite Tsukuyomi, trapping the whole world in an illusion and almost turning everyone into his white Zetsu army. His influence stretched far beyond anyone else on this list. And unlike Nagato or Obito, Madara had almost unlimited chakra, especially in his 10-Tails Jinchuriki form. He could unleash his full power without even worrying about running out. He fought the entire world and almost won, only losing because of the combined force of Naruto, Sasuke, and an unexpected betrayal. Still, since his origins weren't entirely divine like the number 1 spot, he stays at 2nd place. Hagoromo Otsutsuki. When it comes to the strongest Rinnegan user in the entire Naruto-verse, there's only one true number 1, Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the Sage of 6 Paths. Not only was he the very first Rinnegan user, but he was also the only one to fully master every bit of its insane power. He could use all 6 paths techniques directly. No middleman like Nagato and his 6 paths of pain. His Deva path was so powerful it could create a Chibaku Tensei strong enough to seal Kaguya inside the moon. But what made Hagoromo truly god tier was his creation of all things ability, literally making life from nothing, a power that belongs to gods, not humans. He created the 9-tailed beasts out of the 10-tails chakra, showing creativity and power on a cosmic level. His outer path could summon souls from the Pure Land and control life and death itself, something even Madara and Sasuke couldn't dream of matching. Hagoromo's impact on ninja history is beyond measure. He created Ninshu, spread chakra to humanity, and built the very foundation of the ninja world. Every major event in Naruto can be traced back to his legacy, from the existence of the tailed beasts to Naruto and Sasuke's final victory over Kaguya. And of course, he basically had no real limits, except death. But even then, his chakra lasted for thousands of years after he passed. Hagoromo wasn't just a fighter. He was a creator, a protector, and the shaper of the entire world. His legacy has lasted millennia, and that's why no one can argue against him holding the absolute #1 spot. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.